there's a single event that captures the attention and the imagination of the world, it's, of course, the World Cup. That's right. This is me and my son in Russia, no joke, watching England lose twice, first against Croatia, then against Belgium. Oh, well, still a wonderful experience. St. Petersburg, a beautiful city. However, there's always 2022, a distant second, but perhaps even more important, or as important, the U.S. election. And in the past 4 years, no person has captured attention like Donald Trump. By the way, we constantly get comments whenever we talk about politics that I should stay in my lane. Well, guess what? My lane is whatever makes me fucking happy. And talking about politics brings me joy. After 90 hours of watching John King make sweet, sweet love to a multi-touch collaboration wall, Biden was finally announced the victor, and the coastal elite began dancing in the streets. To be clear, though, they weren't really dancing for Biden. They were dancing on Trump's grave. This isn't a mandate. This is a repudiation of President Donald Trump. On the drive to the White House, many Democrats, let's be honest, have been anxiously looking down at the dashboard and seeing a blinking red check engine light. Just get me to the destination. Interestingly, Biden, according to medical experts, has a better chance of surviving the next 4 years than Trump, whose body mass index qualifies him as obese. He's also obese spiritually, metaphorically, and intellectually. But I digress. It's the potential second term, however, where things get more precarious, as the president-elect will be 13 years older than the average Fox viewer. No joke, the average age of a Fox viewer is 69. Meaning if an 18-year-old Billie Eilish is watching Laura Ingraham, I like to just imagine things that are unimaginable. That means somebody, no joke, 120 years old is also watching, and chances are that 120-year-old will be running for the Republican nomination in 2024. Republicans ignore biology and become super spreaders. Democrats have decided to ignore biology and don't want to tell their leadership that it's time for them to leave the goddamn stage and spend more time with their great-great-great-grandkids. The likelihood of a one-term president means there will be more attacks and conspiracy theories levied on Senator Harris than any vice president in history. She should just post her birth certificate on Instagram now. However, and I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, in my view, to date, Madam Vice President-elect has been underwhelming. Senator Harris's two big moments were calling Biden a racist and demanding Pence let her speak. Both tickle our tribal censors, but that's not enough to be president in 2024. To be clear, she could absolutely grow into the position and has huge potential. One thing that's going in Democrats' favor is the tectonic shift in U.S. demographics. Demographics are destiny. 67% of voters are white, and 58% of them voted Republican. So even though people don't change as much as we'd like, the population does. America is browning, and the census estimates that whites will become the minority by 2044. There's just no getting around it. This is a negative forward-looking indicator for Taylor Swift, New Balance, Korean cars, Wendy's, the Detroit Red Wings, White Claw, Pinterest, eating Sabra hummus snack while sitting in a RAV4 listening to NPR, a Vineyard Vines catalog, sitting atop wicker patio furniture, live performances of Prairie Home Companion, and the TED Conference. Kaboom! I thought that was awesome. That made me happy. Anyway, because minorities as a group are younger than whites, the minority-wide tipping point comes earlier for younger age groups, and it may have been a surge in youth voters that helped propel Biden to victory. There was an increase of almost 10% in voters aged 18 to 29, and Biden had the support of 61% of them. Biden was particularly popular with young people of color, winning 86% of Black youth, 82% of Asian youth, and 73% of Latino youth. Though Democrats do need to stop lumping people into buckets, Latinx voters in Miami are not the same as Latinx voters in Arizona. And while we're on it, only about 1 in 4 U.S. Hispanics have heard the term Latinx, and only 3% use it. So while a younger, browning America will be a wind in the Democrats' sails, it's not enough. So let's move on and talk about the wind in that sails. What one word encapsulates what this new administration needs to do? Simply put, repair. Repair our alliances, repair the economy, and repair our trust in science. If a Biden-Harris administration gets that right, they will restore faith in capitalism and re-energize the American dream. The American superpower is optimism, and our superpower as a species is cooperation. Biden needs to rebuild the broken bridges and cooperate with our international peers, starting with rejoining the Paris Climate Accords, the World Health Organization, and strengthening the greatest alliance in history that has kept the peace for over a half a century, the North Atlantic Treaty. To repair the economy, Biden has two easy levers to pull. The first, regulation. Biden should follow Teddy Roosevelt's example and go on a trust-busting crusade that ends the monopoly era and oxygenates the economy, whether it's big tech, big pharma, or big ag. The fruits of economic growth are being hoarded by America's largest companies. Big tech should be the priority. However, it should be presented through a lens of success. Congratulations, you have done such an amazing job. You are so successful. We are going to oxygenate the sector and break your ass up. Breaking up big tech will create opportunity. The competition will spawn innovation, better citizenship, and jobs. The second way to repair capitalism? Fix the tax code. Taxes have become regressive and complex, favoring the wealthy who can afford to hire experts to help them game and escape their dues while everyday Americans contribute more than their fair share. Two of the largest tax breaks, mortgage interest and capital gains. Both represent nothing but a blatant transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. Why is renting less noble than owning? And why is the government subsidizing those who are already rich and have assets to trade? Simply put, the people that vote tend to be older and rich who own homes and assets, and those that don't vote are typically younger and poor who rent and don't own assets. This makes no sense. We're supposed to help those people get forward, not make rich people richer. The administration should also invest in the IRS. The IRS's budget to revenue ratio ranks among the lowest for tax collection agencies in the world. Due to a lack of resources, the IRS failed to audit more than 897,000 wealthy individuals who skipped filing tax returns over a 3-year period. Collectively, they owed nearly $46 billion in taxes. Estimates suggest a $100 billion investment could rake in $1.2 trillion over a decade. We should also start taxing the endowments of our elite higher education institutions that have lost the script and are no longer public servants, but luxury brands educating the children of their investors. A Marshall Plan that takes our great state universities and forces them to embrace small and big tech such that we can double admittance rates and dramatically lower costs will send higher back to its rightful place as the upward lubricant of income mobility in our country, not the engine of casting where it sits now. If colleges aren't expanding seats at the same pace as population growth, they should be taxed like the luxury brands they aspire to be. Another way to engage the young and reinvoke our national identity during a crisis, and instead of trading Tesla options in their parents' basement, is to create a Corona Corps. The U.S. should employ 18 to 22-year-olds to help arrest COVID through contact tracing. What did the government leaders of the 50s, 60s, and 70s have in common that resulted in incredible legislation that catalyzed prosperity and progress across this great nation? They all served in uniform. They served in the agency of something bigger than party, their country. After watching the integrity of our elections eroded and molested, the biggest challenge for this administration is restoring faith in democracy and capitalism. Capitalism is not an organic, natural state. Unless it rests on a sense of empathy, it collapses under its own Darwinistic self and weight. And the elimination of child poverty might be a good place to start. 1 in 5 households with children are food insecure, and we claim to be the wealthiest nation in the world. There is nothing wrong with America that can't be fixed with what's right with America. And having a decent man moving to Pennsylvania Avenue is a great start and will yield numerous winners. Some of those winners, or one of those winners, dads. As the father of 2 boys, 10 and 13, what were we supposed to tell our boys about Donald Trump? What attributes were they supposed to mirror or model? Collaborating with enemies? Mocking the disabled? Porn stars? Exaggerating your wealth and accomplishments? 2 generations of rich kids expectant and dependent on their parents' wealth and success? Seriously, what were we supposed to tell our boys? President-elect Biden and Madam Vice President-elect Harris have already made the country a better place for 2 cohorts, moms and dads. We'll see you next week. New Balance, Wendy's. New Balance, Wendy's. New Balance, Wendy's. Vineyard Vines catalog. New Balance, Wendy's. New Balance, Wendy's. New Balance, Wendy's. Listening to NPR. White Claw Korean cars. White Claw Korean cars. White Claw Korean cars. Live performances of Prairie Home Companion. White Claw Korean cars.